Ford, greetings. How are you? Welcome to Brisbane.
Very fine. Thanks for having me.
What brings you here?
Well, I'm here at my second Big Sound in 4 years, and I'm here to meet with really all the people in Australia that I've learned to do business with in the past 6 or 7 years. I found that events like Big Sound really bring together who's who in the music industry, and being based in Boston, you can't beat face-to-face business meetings. So I'm here to meet all the folks who come to the event.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, Sonic Bids is a website that helps promoters book bands and bands get gigs. We're based in Boston, Massachusetts, and what I do with the company is I'm in charge of our promoter network and international business.
Okay. A lot has been said of late about the rude bill of health the Australian live music scene is enjoying at the moment. What do you see in the Australian scene?
Well, I think from our perspective, we see Australian music as alive and kicking. We have been working in Australia again for about 5 years now, and the quality of bands just keeps improving, and especially on the international circuit, we see more and more great Australian bands coming to events like South by Southwest and CMJ on a yearly basis.
Yeah, what are the real strengths? Is it rock and pop still, or are we breaking out to some other avenues?
Well, this might be a bit of a biased answer because that's the rock vibe is really where I'm from, so I pay most attention to that stuff, but I've also heard a lot of great hip-hop coming out of Australia recently.
And of course, we've been reading a lot of headlines about the American live music industry going through some tough problems at the moment. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that the live industry in the States is suffering probably at the big venue, the amphitheater, the large touring acts that traditionally have made up the big sort of headline music industry business. But what I find is that the middle class of artists, the bands at the pubs, the bands that are playing out 6, 7 nights a week, they're strong as ever. People are going out to see that music. They're just not willing to fork over $80, $90, $100 a ticket to go see a larger band.
Now, you must get absolutely tons of submissions for Sonic Bids. How does an act sort of cut through and stand out from the crowd?
That's a great question. I think what I tell all the artists are, first and foremost, have a great presence on Sonic Bids. So that means having a good video, a good presentation of your band, great photos, great bio, and of course great songs. And then secondly, I think that one of the great things about Sonic Bids is the bands are in control of their own destiny. So they need to be selective about where they submit. So a band that's just getting started out probably doesn't need to submit to play one of the larger events that's out there. Just like in the offline world, they have to pay their dues and start to play at smaller venues and then work their way up to the larger shows. So I think targeting where they want to play is the most important thing for the bands to do.
Can you give us a bit of insight about the numbers Sonic Bids is doing?
Sure. Right now we have about 275,000 artists using the site worldwide, and about 5,000 promoters worldwide using the site. So that's everyone from large festivals to smaller venues booking 5 and 6 bands a night.
You've been around for how many years?
It'll be our 10th year next March.
This is an industry which is evolving at a pace quite like any other industry. So what is it about your business model that has seen you survive and thrive over these years?
Well, I think from a business model perspective, the thing that makes it work the best is that we're a market. So we really empower an artist on one hand and a promoter on the other to find each other in a sort of non-friction way. We're not biased to any particular type of genre or any particular type of event. We just sort of provide the groundwork for those two parties to connect. I think the second thing that we've been able to do is because we come from music background, there's a lot of musicians who work at Sonic Bids, and the founder came from a booking background. We've really known the predicament of an artist and a promoter and have listened to them. And frankly, it's the people using our site who've helped us make developments over the years.
Of course, you've also had to evolve. This is an industry where you have to evolve or you don't have much of a lifespan. Recently, I understand you bought Artist Data. How does that fit into the business?
Well, Artist Data is a site that enables bands to syndicate their content about tour dates across social media and really across the web. And for Sonic Bids, we're the place that helps bands get gigs. So Artist Data is the place that helps bands tell their fans about gigs. So it was a natural fit for us.
Are you looking at any other companies to to acquire or partner with?
Well, the exciting thing about being in the music internet space is there's always a new company thinking about problems in a different way. So we try and stay really close to all of the people who are acting in our space. And while there's not anyone specific we're looking at right now, we're always keeping our eye out.
Okay. Also, in recent years, you've been involved in some venture capital funding. How has that affected the business?
Well, venture capital is a lot like a band signing a deal with the record label. On the one hand, you're getting some more resources than you've had in the past. On the other hand, you feel that you're going to lose some creative control. So when we took venture capital, we actually spent a long time talking to different venture capital firms and also sort of evaluating what each one had to offer. And we were lucky enough to find a firm that's really allowed us to sort of keep our creative control over our company while giving us resources to go and purchase a company like Artist Data and certainly expand into a territory like Australia.
The global financial crisis, how has that affected Sonic Beats? What have you noticed?
Well, I would say that it's affected us in two ways. In one way, we have a whole lot more artists who are willing to sort of make music their day job, because a lot of those people don't have day jobs anymore, which for me is a really invigorating and energizing thing to have more independent artists trying to make a go of it. On the other hand, it's really forced us to get really good at what we do, because the dollars that those artists have to spend are much, much more precious. So we really have to every day come into work and make sure we're delivering a product that makes sense.
How important is Australia to your business?
It's critical. As I said, we've been working in Australia for a little over 5 years now. And the reason why we wanted to work in Australia is Sonic Bids as a business only makes sense on a global level. So connecting an artist from Boston to New York is not particularly challenging for that artist. However, for a band in Boston to go book a tour in Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne is very, very difficult. So when we started thinking about growing the business, we thought, well, what sort of markets make sense for us to expand into across our borders? And Australia was a natural fit because of the size of the industry. I think also the genres of music that do well, and also because, well, it's a pretty mature industry.
There's been some chatter in the Australian market in recent years about developing a circuit incorporating Australia and some of the Southeast Asian markets, and even perhaps South Africa. What do you make of that?
I think it's fabulous. I have had the privilege of seeing bands from many different countries share a similar stage, and all I've seen is good things come from cross-collaboration of cultures.
Fabulous, Ford. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.